Okay, everybody. So welcome back. This is Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and this is a really short series of steps for those of you who want to publish a perma-free or a forever free book on Amazon. And the reason that you would want to do this is, for just about every kind of use case, whether, you're publishing a newsletter. I know a lot of folks who will be hearing this are Substack publishers, but whether you're a real life business owner, maybe you sell professional services to the public in a local community or in a online sort of format, or you have an old blog that you'd like to reanimate or sell physical products via some sort of e-commerce platform like Etsy or your own site or store. Using free books on Amazon is a magical but yet somewhat mysterious sort of strategy for many folks who kind of have heard about this idea but aren't actually sure how to implement it on their own. And there's a lot of other stuff that we can talk about in the future about how to promote your free books, etc. But for this short audio tutorial and Notion template. So if you're listening to this on Substack, there's actually a Notion workbook that I created for folks. It's free. You can use it to actually kind of create a tracking system for your books, for your business, for your free books, and all sorts of other kind of ways of ensuring that you're not missing any of the important steps, both before and after you publish a perma or forever free book on Amazon. All right, so let's look at the sequence of steps very quickly. Step number one is you're going to go to drafttodigital.com. This is free. There are probably alternatives, but I don't see why one would want to use one. It's free again, and it works perfectly well. And I just actually completed this process yet again on the 2nd of May, 2025. Today is the 3rd of May, and you can actually see the book that I published following this exact sequence of steps for free, in the last 24 hours. All right, step number two is once you're register with Draft to Digital, if you're not already, you simply want to upload your EPUB, which is the ebook. And, this is going to live on your local machine or, wherever we have it stored. And you're simply going to add that to the Draft to Digital new book setup. So you want to create a new book and you're going to upload your EPUB, and then you're going to follow step three, the distribution prompts, which are just, the process by which your book is going to be distributed in a single click to all of the various marketplaces for books that you see below, right? So all of the places and spaces that work with Draft to Digital that, they can distribute to automatically or auto-magically, one of the two, depending on how much you appreciate this process. I happen to think it's a magical time saver for me, but nonetheless, it does this very quickly, and it will, by dint of a toggle or a checkbox, you can essentially send your book to a ton of places with a zero price point. There are a couple different little sort of wrinkles here. Like there are a few of the platforms that they distribute to that don't allow free books. For an example, Amazon, which is why we're going to Draft to Digital first, doesn't allow free books. If they did, this recording wouldn't be necessary. They require, this is Amazon, a 99-cent minimum threshold price point for your book, right? So that's the absolute minimum. But Draft to Digital does not require a price point, and the variety of places and spaces that you can distribute to within their network also allow for free books, right? Apple Books, Smashwords, Barnes and Noble, Google, et cetera, all will accept free books, right? So really at this stage, all we're trying to do is to get our book for free distributed to as many places as we can. And it's important to note that the few places that don't allow, free books in the Draft to Digital backend, that require a 99-cent minimum, much the way Amazon does, you'll see that. It'll actually say, there'll be like a little, like warning note that'll say, this platform requires a minimum of 99 cents for a book, and they will magically fill in the price for you, and they'll tell you what your cut of the book will be. Again, we don't care about the cut per book in this process. We're looking for exposure. We're looking to expand our brand. We're looking to get our book and our business and our words and our work into as many ears and eyeballs as we can. And that's the entirety of this practice or this process. So, you don't really care about the 45 cents that you're going to make on a 99-cent book via some, obscure marketplace in, some spot that it doesn't really matter much to you as an author. All right, you're going to agree to the terms of service and publish your book. This is all, again, step 4 within the Draft2Digital backend. Essentially, at this point, you're just acknowledging that you either own the rights to the book or you are the author and you have the right to distribute it. That's the only terms of service here that you are agreeing to. Step number 5, this is essentially where we wait, right? You're going to start to get notices from Draft2Digital within an hour or two, letting you know that, and these will be email notices, that your book has been published for free at, the variety of different marketplaces that are in their network. These come sequentially, staggered, and, contingent upon the approval process. So you may, it could be annoying, like if there's like 30 of these marketplaces, sometimes you'll get 30 separate emails from Draft2Digital. You can also turn those off, I believe, and just check within the Draft2Digital backend directly yourself within your book administration panel, and it'll show you all the links that are live and which ones are yet to be published. All right, and this is all, again, on day 1. This is not days or weeks or months. This is right away. It's pretty immediate. All right, I'm recording this again on the 3rd. It's a Saturday, and I did this, I think it was yesterday, the 2nd, and, pretty much all of the books were that I submitted have been published and are live for free on all these like sort of secondary marketplaces. Again, a secondary marketplace is anything that's not named Amazon. All right. So this is important. This is the next step, step 6. You want to actually start to check your links, as we just discussed, but you now need to go, you're going to want to go back into Amazon to take advantage of their price match feature, which is Amazon's way of saying if your book is available on another platform for a lower price than they offer, they will price match the book for the customer or client. So ostensibly, this process is set up, I think, for people to report a book that they want to buy is available elsewhere for a lower price, but we're actually we're telling on ourselves here. We're essentially using this process to tell Amazon that we want to price match our own book for free because it's available on these other platforms at no cost, and Amazon is charging for it, right? The important piece of this is you want to actually pick a real platform that has some gravitas in the eyes and ears of the Amazon, sort of CSRs or customer service reps. Like in the experience I had yesterday, I took the first link that was live from Draft2Digital, and I submitted that one. It was Smashwords, right? Which is still a legitimate, reputable, marketplace or platform. But when I submitted that link as, the example of the book is called A Tiny Book About Big Love. When I shared that link with Amazon within my Amazon account, which we're going to get to in a second, the CSR wrote back to me asking if I could provide a link to either Apple Books or Google Play, right? So they wanted either an Apple Live link that was free or a Google link. And your mileage here may vary. You might actually get a request for Barnes & Noble and Amazon, or and Apple or something analogous to that, right? So they don't, the key takeaway here is you really don't want to take some random obscure marketplace that Draft to Digital generously and graciously distributes to. You want to take one of the larger ones that they distribute to so that you can actually have some, oomph behind your ask. All right. So that's what I did. I, changed the link from Smashwords to, Apple as they requested. And I shared the Barnes and Noble link as well. And it was all approved. But we're going to cover this right now in these next steps. So the next step, which is step 8, is you have to get your ASKIN number, I think it is, from Amazon. This is on the book, right? So each book has one of these. And it's like a product, SKU for books, right? And it's at the very top of your book listing. I believe it's the ASKIN series of digits, and you'll see it at the very top, and it's marked as such. All right, now you just want to go into your Amazon author account, and we're just going to finish the whole process. So you have a live book or a live link or many live links to your book being published on secondary platforms for free. You're going to take one of those, again, as we discussed. You want to take one that has some extra gravitas, Barnes & Noble, Apple, Google, etc. Those were the ones that were requested of me when I initially sent the first link. You're going to go to Help within your Amazon author account. It's at the very top of the page. I almost knocked over an entire cup of coffee on myself as I'm using my hands in an animated way to describe this process to you. You're going to go to Help, which is the very top on the right. You are then going to, once you click on that Help tab, you're going to go to the very bottom of the next screen where you're going to see a Contact Us tab. You have to scroll all the way to the bottom left to find this. Again, I'm doing this by memory, so, again, your mileage may vary, but you want the Contact Us tab, right? Help, then Contact Us. Then you want to select the reason that you're contacting Amazon, and this is for price match, right? So it may say pricing or price match, one of those two things. You want to select this tab, and you're going to click on this button, and it's going to bring up immediately a pre-formatted email that has essentially the things they want from you, which is, number one, which marketplace do you want to target? In this case, we want to target just Amazon.com, and this will kind of umbrella everything else underneath it. So, if you're, Amazon, the UK version, the India version, the Italian version, et cetera, the Canadian Amazon. I don't even know, is there a Canadian Amazon? I think there is. But all those sort of geo-specific, kind of sub marketplaces are all umbrellaed under the .com. So if you select .com from this email template, that's sufficient here. They then want you to paste a link into this same little box to share where you've discovered this book for a lower price than Amazon currently lists it for. And again, we're self-reporting here. We're telling on ourselves here. We're reporting our book is cheaper elsewhere. In this case, it's free. So you want to actually then put the numbers, you want to put 0, .00. You want to just put a free, price point, because that's the price that you want Amazon to match. All right. You put that all into this little form, and then you simply hit send, right? It's that simple. I just paste the info in. So I'm copying a link from, Apple or Google or Barnes & Noble or Smashwords or whatever it is. I'm pasting it into that box. I'm choosing Amazon.com as the marketplace. I want the book to be free, or that's the marketplace I'm shopping for this book. Again, this is supposed to be something that people looking to price match a product, not yourself. So you would be telling Amazon, the marketplace, that you found this product. Of course, in our case, we're finding our own product, right? And then lastly, you're going to paste in the price that you found the book elsewhere, which is our book for free on one of these other platforms that Draft to Digital just distributed to for free. All right. And then you just wait. And it's literally a process of a few hours or less or more. I guess it depends on, how busy they are, what day of the week it may be, etc. And you're going to get a notification from Amazon, excuse me, letting you know either that the book has been price matched and it's currently $0 as requested, or you're going to get a request for more information. When I did this yesterday, like I mentioned earlier, the request I got was for a better, a more, sort of mainstream platform that they wanted to check against rather than a more sort of niche-y kind of like book nerdy kind of platform. So they wanted, from Apple rather than Smashwords. Barnes & Noble, I've also had requested in the past as well. They recognize Barnes & Noble as a competitor, whereas some of these really small, obscure platforms, they don't. So they're less likely to actually honor your price match request. And that's really it. I mean, the other thing, this is something else that you want to be very mindful of. The other thing that I noticed that gave me a little bit of just another extra step, or made me wait another hour and actually have to invest a little bit more of my time and energy into this, was my name was different on the drafted digital versions that were distributed. My middle name was used, right? So Ian Ross Hollander was in the drafted digital meta data. So that was the author name on these other platforms. Whereas in my Amazon author account, it was my own name, Ian Hollander, right? Or excuse me, my name without, they're both my name, but my name without my middle name was not included, right? I'm making this much more difficult than it need be. So essentially the second email that I got was, please, the information doesn't match, and they actually contrasted my name on across the two different platforms. So the Apple link had Ian Ross Hollander. The Amazon book was published under Ian Hollander, and that wasn't good enough for them. So I had to go back and change that. And then I actually noticed there was something else that was a little bit different between the two books. And I went back and changed that as well. It was the one had a subtitle, one didn't. And just to be on the safe side, I decided to take that out of the Amazon book as well, right? So they were completely in alignment with respect to each version being 100% true to each other. I did that. I sent a personal message back to the rep at Amazon, the KDP rep. And, I don't know if that helps or doesn't help or not, but you don't want to be you want to be a human being about this stuff and recognize that there's a human being on the other side. So you don't want to be like some people do this stuff in a very robotic and unattached or detached way, and I basically addressed the rep by his name or her name. I'm not sure if it was a man or a woman. And I thanked them for pointing it out and said, I appreciate you and all that other stuff. Again, I don't know if that's just the fact that I enjoy being polite and nice to people, or that helps. I don't know, but it can't hurt to be friendly and personal and personable and to address somebody's effort in, your behalf. Anyway, it all worked quite quickly. And within a few minutes, I got a response from this particular, CSR from Amazon KDP, letting me know that my book was now free on all the platforms that I requested. All right, so now I have this book that is going to be, it's going to cost nothing. And there are tons of ways to use that book, to promote that book in a way that drives traffic to your newsletter, to your other books. If you have books in a series, it's a great way of giving away book number one and then promoting, books number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And we're building an entire brand of tiny books. So, this is ostensibly what this whole thing is about. You have to be, make sure that you include your links and resources, etc. at the end. And you can see all this in the workbook. If you choose to download this, it's free. You don't even have to download it. You can just access it online. It's a Notion URL, and it's also a Notion template that you can duplicate. I made it copyable if that's a word, then you can actually incorporate that into your own workflow, which, if you're a Notion user in particular, I think you'll find very helpful. Anyway, teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. I appreciate you listening. If you have any questions about this, I'm going to post this on Substack, I believe. So if you want to ask questions about this in our Substack, you can do so. I'm also going to publish a sort of a tutorial on YouTube for those who want to actually, kind of follow along a visual presentation. And I'll probably do that next week. All right. Thanks so much for listening. As always, I appreciate you and have a wonderful day.